Today we are going to be touring the recently out of dry dock Norwegian Bliss. Welcome back to Miller's in Motion. If it's your first time here, we are currently sailing on board the Norwegian Bliss. It is spring of 2025, and the Norwegian Bliss just came out of dry dock. Something else that's pretty cool is we actually were on this ship back in 2018 on one of its inaugural sailings up in Alaska. So as we go through the ship deck by deck, spot by spot, I'm going to actually make some references back to that to tell you what's changed. Also, anything that we've used, haven't used. We are actually on the last full day at sea of a Mexican Riviera cruise with some friends. So let's start off in the very back of the ship, and we're literally going to go top to bottom, back to front, and see everything that we can possibly see as long as it's open. So before we get going on the full tour, I do want to take you around the room. This is room number 13808 on the 13th floor. One of the cool things, besides the fact this is all backlit, is you can kind of see here where it says makeup room, do not disturb at home. So you can actually mark what you want to do here, right here with lights, which is kind of handy versus like the door hangers. Also, it does require a key card to make all the lights and air conditioners work. You come in, it's a pretty basic stateroom. Bed, Lauren.
I don't come with all the staterooms.
Couch, and we have been in this room now for about 5-ish days, so there is stuff around. Then you have a nice vanity over here with everything. In addition to that, we also have, well, all of my stuff. You have room for storage down here that I'm utilizing, and here that I'm utilizing, and a small TV. And here is the closet. A bunch of shelves, a bunch of hanging space right through there. You do have a safe. Also Lauren's sunglasses. And in the bathroom, it's basic, but it's one of the better cruise bathrooms because it actually maximizes the space better and you're not like touching everything. So sink and vanity, spot to hang towels, plenty of storage up top, head/toilet, and then shower, which the shower has actually been very, very good. Now, next to the bed on both sides, you have nightstands. This one is a little bit bigger than this one. There's also USBs, reading lamps, and all of that above. I believe what Lauren is sitting on can be converted into a bed, allegedly.
Allegedly.
We do have a balcony. Pretty simple, but when you come out, a couple of chairs, Ryan's swimsuits not included, or the GoPro. But overall, a great view, which we are at sea today. And we are on the starboard side, so you can actually see the overhang of the water slide. So what are your pros and cons of this balcony stateroom?
Pro comes in the name, the balcony. I love having the balcony. I told him I don't think I would cruise without it. I will say that the bathroom situation is also very nice. The shower has more room than it seems like it in storage over there. So I think those are pros.
Negative?
Negative, we've been spoiled, I guess you could say. The bed is very nice. They've done a great job, but it's not our Brooklyn bedding bed that we have had in all of our RVs and even now in our home. So I miss my bed.
You know by now how much we absolutely love our mattresses. And the very first thing that I could think of that I absolutely wanted to get in our brand new RV is our RVmattress.com by Brooklyn Bedding mattress.
We ordered from RVmattress.com when we got our very first RV many years ago. And we loved the mattress so much that when we got our second RV, we sold the RV and kept the mattress and put it in the new rig. And when that mattress got into a fight with a dog of ours, we didn't hesitate. We went right back to RVmattress.com and ordered what we knew worked. We've loved it. And when it came time to upgrade Mom's mattress, you bet we knew right where to go. Who is RV Mattress, or what is it? It is a Brooklyn bedding brand, and they are actually known for like top of the line quality and comfort. They have a factory based out of Arizona that ships directly to you, and they offer several different mattress options, 3 different firmnesses, and over 20 sizes, some of which are RV specific. We personally went with the signature hybrid style of mattress. This is the RV King 72 by 80, and we did add the little pillow top, which we really like, and it's cooling as well. And in the back, we did a signature hybrid mattress as well in a queen size, but we didn't put the pillow top on that one. Oh.
As a bigger guy with a bad back, thanks to years of golf too, having a good mattress in the RV was such a big deal. So in addition to everything Lauren talked about, you get a 120-day sleep trial. So if you don't like it, you just give them a call and they take care of it. And a 10-year warranty, which is good because I'm really rough on things.
Imagine that.
I don't know what you're talking about. To learn more about rvmattress.com and the Brooklyn Bedding mattresses, you can check out rvmattress.com/Millers in Motion. I know it's our name. It's difficult. You can also save 30% off by using our code Millers in Motion.
Okay, this is the very aft of the ship, or the back. This is called Spice H2O. Now, Spice H2O is the adults only section, and it is 18 and up most of the time. They'll occasionally do an event that's not. Now, it's a little torn down right now because it is about 5:30 in the morning, because that's what time I get up. So there's not a whole lot to it, but it's good in its simplicity, because when you get to a spot like this, obviously they're going to have a bunch of chairs out. You can see because it's early, they're all packed up. But there's a hot tub on either side. There is no actual pool in Spice H2O. But they do have a stage that they do some of their events at. There's another hot tub on the other side. They do have a full bar where they have sports or something else playing, as well as like a seating area. And in lieu of a pool, for some reason, they have a water feature. And I don't know why. Not going to try to figure that out, but this is what they did. So this is the way it was back in 2018 as well. And this was one of the things that I didn't love about it. I wish there was a pool or more hot tubs or something along those lines. So now let's start to move forward on this deck. Okay, as we come out of Spice H2O, you have a stairwell, some elevator banks, and something new from Dry Dock called the American Diner. Now, the American Diner, there's an entrance here, as well as, if we walk out this door, there's another entrance on the outside. Now, this used to be the Margaritaville restaurant that they had on board. But because Margaritaville has their own ships now, they just rethemed it to American Diner. This place does breakfast and lunch all days, and it's very similar to what they do in the main dining room. Okay, in these back sections, there's going to be a couple of bouncing around, because there's some random spots that go up, like right here in the aft, as well as in the forward section of the ship. So you can see there's a gate here right now. Right at the top of those stairs is called the Norwegian Bliss Speedway. It's a 2-deck electric go-kart track. We did it back in 2018. It was a lot of fun. It is an upcharge, but we did do it and we had a lot of fun. We're also right on the other side of the funnel now, and you can see this slide right here is a water slide that actually you go down and then you actually come back up and down. People get stuck quite a bit. There's a kind of sweet spot as far as weight and activities. It's called Ocean Loops, but don't worry if you do happen to get stuck in any spot. They have hatches around, and the cast come and try to help you out. So from there, because we can't go up anymore, we're going to move forward. So we are currently on deck 17, and as you can see here, there is more water slides. Those are the Aqua Racers coming through on that far side. You have the kids pool area, as well as the main pool area. I'm actually actively over one of the pool bars, which is right beneath me right now. There's a pool right there, and then a pool on the far side. And then you can see that huge screen with the massive wide, and you can see that massively wide, huge screen. They play movies on it, do all kinds of stuff. And then there's another pool bar. Then there's another pool on the far side. Now, during the day, all of this area is covered up with all kinds of chairs and that kind of stuff. On the far side over there, you can kind of see there's another pool bar, and then there's actually seating on both sides. That's more of a traditional seating for like eating, and you can utilize that if you're in the garden cafe. Now, when you start to come down the sides, That's down on deck 16, up on deck 17, which is this little section I'm on now. And you do have stairs every so often that you can go down. But you do have hot tubs kind of periodically that overlook the side of the ship. So, okay, let's continue to move our way down. Okay, one area that I can't go because I'm not a part of it is, you see that restaurant area up there? That is actually part of the Haven restaurant. The Haven is the ship within a ship concept. It's an upgraded charge. You have butlers, the rooms are bigger, a lot more amenities, those types of things. So down here below it though, you do have the ping pong tables as we move our way into the aft stairwell and elevator banks. As I mentioned, that is the Haven area behind us. And that's their main entrance into their lounge, restaurant, and all of the things there. Okay, we are now aft at the Garden Cafe, and it is not quite open yet, so we're not going to go in there. But the Garden Cafe is the buffet on board. So, kind of if you're looking for food, this is where you come. They do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, now we are down one deck below where we just were. There is a full bar. Now that we're one deck down below, you can see where all of those tables are that you can use from the Garden Cafe. And then this is that area where we were just up top. You can see the aqua racers, you can see the kids zone, you can see the pools, you can see the whole deck area a little bit better. So let's continue to move aft. And we are now all the way forward and back into the all the way forward on deck 16. And this is the entrance to the Mandarin Spa and Salon, as well as the fitness center. So the spa would be on your left and the fitness center on your right. In the fitness center, they have everything that you would expect to have. Lauren and I have been using it a little bit. There's people working out, so I'm not going to go too deep in, but tons of treadmills, lifting equipment, free weights, ellipticals. They have spin classes, all of that stuff. Like in a lot of ships too, we're going to skip quite a few decks just because there's only staterooms. So as we get down closer to like 14, we're going to move a little faster. All right, while there are a bunch of staterooms on 15, there is one feature in the very front of the ship on deck 15 I want to point out, because this has been our unofficial hangout spot. This is the observation lounge. So this is something that was on the ship back in 2018. So the observation lounge was something that was on the Bliss back in 2018. It was initially built as just a big, wide, long hangout that was indoors, but that you could see outside of, simply because you had the views in Alaska. Now, one cool thing about this is it runs about a third of the ship from the middle to the back, and then wraps around the front, which we'll be up to in a second. But this kind of became our unofficial hangout the last couple of nights with the Today Someday crew that we were on the cruise with. One of the cool things they do down here is they also have coffee stations and kind of some light bites. They do a little bit of everything in some scenarios. One thing, and it's really hard to show right now, but these windows here look straight off the front of the ship. Obviously it's still dark outside, so it's kind of hard to say that just a whole lot. But as far as a space goes, it's actually really cool. And if you see that balcony up there, that's actually a little area that's part of the Garden Cafe or the buffet. In addition to just lounge spots everywhere and light bites, they have light bite stations throughout. You also have a full bar. And then one last thing is they also do occasionally have some live music down here. So, okay, let's start heading down a little bit more. So one thing about the observation lounge is it was shortened on one side to make more room for Haven rooms. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm sure it's a revenue thing versus utilization thing, so it kind of is what it is. We are headed down now to deck 7, because everything between 15 and 7 is staterooms. The medical center's in there somewhere, but staterooms. Okay, very forward now on deck 7 is actually the theater. Again, unfortunately, it is closed at the moment. So as you can see, though, there's a multi-stage theater. They have shows like the Beatles Experience, Jersey Boys, as well as a show called Icons, which is more of like a greatest hits kind of a show. Now, and you can get to both sides of the theater through both sides. As you move forward, As you move toward the aft of the ship, when you come through, it's your first glimpse into more of the interior space of the ship. So this area is called the local. So as we move into this area, this is called the local. This is more of like a sports bar style restaurant. It's open most times, and it actually serves like wings and burgers and all kinds of stuff like that. It has a full bar. And one of the cool features, and I've done this quite a bit, is there's these chairs around this like horseshoe thing in the middle, and that overlooks the atrium, which is that screen down there, and then you can see all the chairs and other things. Now at the other end of the local, if you've got kids or just want to have some fun yourself, is actually an arcade. So you've got racing games, you've got all kinds of different little things that you can play. Plus you also have, I forget what the official name of it, but I call it mini bowling. It's where you have the shortened lane, small ball, that kind of stuff. So from the local now, we are going to continue to move forward and just start zigzagging our way all around the ship. So there is a casino on board Norwegian Bliss, just like most places have. This is the middle atrium. You can see the really cool chandelier. And then down below. So the casino is open while you're at sea. And for the most part, it's not something I'll ever touch. Now, with that being said, it is a smoke-free casino. There is a smaller section that is smoking that's all completely contained, which is a really cool feature. Now, I just realized we also missed something on deck 8, so we're going to pop up real fast. Okay, we have come to deck 8, where I realized I accidentally skipped some things. So, deck 8 is home to quite a bit. You see that sign there called the waterfront. We'll get into that in just a second, but on one side of the forward elevator bank is called the District Brew House. This is a kind of beer style bar. They do some piano, like dueling piano stuff in here. We've used this space for our event quite a bit, but again, kind of a lounge, tons of beer on tap. You actually have beers and kegs stored as you would in like a draft house kind of a situation. But this was one of our more favorite venues. This is definitely one of our more favorite venues. It is also a pretty casual spot. Now, as we exit and cross over to the other side, as we exit the District Brew House, we cross over the other side, you can see, so directly across from the District Brew House is Food Republic. Food Republic is a fusion restaurant that specifically fusions a lot of different things with an Asian style. Very clean, kind of modern looking. We ate at this restaurant on our 2018 sailing, and I can tell you, just from our perspective, it wasn't our favorite, not because of the quality of the food, simply because we didn't care for the style of food that they covered. So if you're into sushi and a lot of seafood dishes, this is your jam. It is important to note too that Food Republic is an upcharge, as well as some of the other restaurants on this level. So now we're back at the elevator banks, and on our right is La Cucina, which is their Italian restaurant on board. This is actually where we ate dinner last night. I thought it was very good. You know, it's always that level of, is it the same as on land or on the ship? It's good. It was worth it. Then you have a wine bar right next to it that's also attached to La Cucina. Directly across, you have the Cavern Club. Now, the Cavern Club is a spin on the Cavern Club from Liverpool, where the Beatles used to play. So it's very much so that this is where the Beatles cover band will come and play every once in a while. Now, right next to that, you have the Cigar and Whiskey Lounge. So, called Maltings. Maltings is the actual whiskey bar. So you can see everything changes to kind of that same aesthetic, kind of the darker woods, big cozy chairs, and all of that stuff. Access to the waterfront. They do an outdoor bar there. And then there is also a cigar lounge on board here as well. Now, while we're here, we're going to stick our head out onto the waterfront and briefly talk about what this is. So the waterfront is exactly what you see. Again, it's hard to see, but there's the waterfront. This is the Cavern Club's outdoor bar, and you can see some seating down there along the end. So it's a way to, if you wanted to sit outside, to get a little more of a view. A lot of the restaurants here actually have outdoor seating, as there's another restaurant ahead of us that we'll talk about in a second called Palmar, and you can see there's outdoor seating here. On this side specifically, it's a lot of dining seating. And as we come back in, here's the humidor, which is where the cigar lounge is. Okay, now that we're done with the whiskey bar, we're going to continue to move forward. And just ahead of us is going to be that chandelier we saw from the deck below, which is as far as we got. Now, on one side of this area is sugarcane. This is the mojito bar on board. I'm not the biggest mojito fan. Lauren will have one, but it's not her preferred drink either. But we hung out here just because we like the vibe. One other thing too is they do have some smaller live performances here as they go. Now, I'm going to show you the other side. It's incredibly windy out on the waterfront right now, just because we're underway. But as you can see here, there's a lot more casual seating on this side. There is some restaurant stuff up ahead, but it's predominantly more this style of seating, which we've actually utilized this quite a bit. And then you do have another outdoor bar specifically for sugarcane, the mojito bar. Okay, as we keep going, you start to see a tag here. You start to see watch stores, kind of the typical things. This whole area is called Trade Winds. It's their tax and duty free shops. Before we dive too far down all that, just to the left is Palmar. This is the seafood restaurant on board. So if you're into seafood, we've literally never eaten here, but I've heard good things. We're just not seafood people, so there you have it. Now, as we move back in the Trade Winds, it is a typical cruise shopping section. So you're going to have your jewelry, you're going to have your watches, your crystal stuff, those kind of things that you can get tax-free and maybe get a little bit, less expensive. So again, to each their own, if this is something you choose to do. They do run specials every so often. As you can see, there is a whole jewelry watch store that covers a whole bunch of stuff. In addition to that, you have the sandbar. Now, a lot of these things are still closed. The sandbar is where you're going to find like the duty-free liquor. It's also where you're going to find like just your generic merch. That if you wanted to buy a T-shirt and you forgot something like a toiletry or something along those lines, you can get it there. And then the photo gallery. Now, the photo gallery is twofold. One, you can review all your photos from the trip, choose to buy them, buy frames, all that stuff. There's plenty of room for all that. But you can also buy accessories for things like if you have a GoPro, or you maybe need a battery for your camera, or you just need a camera. But they also have binoculars, especially because of the Alaska side of the trip. But I mean, they even have like Sony A7 IVs and all kinds of things that if you really wanted to, so like if you were really looking for something that to just capture your own stuff, you could also do that, as well as a full array of GoPros and GoPro products, specifically the 13. Okay, moving forward some more, and we're going to get fancy now. Okay, all the way aft on deck 8. It's dark, so we're not going to go all the way down there, but this is Cagney's. Now, Cagney's used to also have a Mexican. Cagney's was on one side, and there was a Mexican food restaurant on the right. In the middle, you have something called the A-list bar. So Cagney's at Dry Dock, because of its popularity, I guess we'll try and go down here. Because of Cagney's popularity, and the Mexicans' not as popularity, they decided to make the whole thing Cagney. So now both sides of the restaurant are Cagney's, and in the middle is still the A-list bar, so you can grab a drink pre or post your dinner right in here. Now, Cagney's is an upcharge. It's their premium steakhouse on board, so it is definitely considered a specialty restaurant. In fact, minus the American Diner and the Garden Grill, to this point, everything's been an upcharge. So we are about to get close to the main dining rooms, though. Another thing is on deck 8, the waterfront stretches full 360 all the way around the ship, so that's kind of cool. Okay, so we've kind of done half of 7, but there's not as much in the aft as there is forward. So this is the Manhattan room. This is the biggest of the main dining rooms. It's obviously closed at the moment. This is your more traditional kind of grand scale room. Off to the side, you have more access to either side. And then forward, you can see more of the casino. And past the casino, you can actually see the chandelier where we stopped. So outside the casino, there's nothing else there, and they don't really love filming. So we're going to go ahead and go down to deck 6. So deck 6 is going to be our last of the main decks. At the very after the ship, you have this really huge, awesome scale of the ship. I will say deck 6 is going to be our last deck, simply because everything beneath that is going to be crew areas, that kind of stuff. There is a kids club down below, as well as teen clubs and those types of things in a video arcade. But outside of that, that's about it. Now, something interesting too, and I couldn't get there because it was closed, but this area at the top of the ship, you can see here, it used to be a laser tag area. They've changed that into something called the lawn or the lounge or something like that. They've kind of made the whole area grass over thing. There's cornhole up there. They converted it into more of like, think of like a front yard, backyard. Also, because we couldn't get there, you can see the pools here. Spice H2O would be way back here. There's the go-kart track. There's the aqua loops. This area here that has this kind of opening in it, that's the Haven pool. So because we don't have access to that, unfortunately, I can't show you, but kind of gives you an idea of the Haven ship within a ship concept. And then the Haven also has their own area, which is up here in the front, where their own hot tubs, their own lounging areas, and all of those things as well. So if you got the money to spend, you can absolutely do that. We didn't. Okay, let's move forward on deck 6. So we're at the aft elevator banks at the moment. So this is Mix, which is a bar that splits the other 2 main dining rooms. So while you have the Manhattan room right above us, down here you have Taste and you have Savor. And then Mix, which is the bar that you can get a drink in before. Something interesting about these 2 restaurants is they are also main dining. Norwegian does something called freestyle dining, so there really aren't any reservations. You just kind of show up. If there's a little bit of a wait, there's a little bit of a wait. But between the Manhattan room, Savor, and Taste, it's the exact same menu. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, they're not all open for everything, but at least one of them is open for something, and then for like dinner, they're all open. As we move more forward into that middle atrium section, you can see all of the arts by Park West. It's cruise ship art. I don't know what else to say besides that's what it is. Moving into what I've been affectionately calling the middle atrium. To the right, you have teppanyaki. This is the Japanese style steakhouse. We did this the other night, had a blast with friends. It's where they cook right in front of you on the hibachi style grill. It's a blast. It's one of the most popular restaurants here. Directly across from that is the Social. Now, this is the comedy club. They do late night stuff in here because they can kind of keep it quieter. A lot of fun. The comics on this ship have actually been great and a lot of fun, which has been a nice change of pace. Sometimes cruise ship comics aren't the greatest. Something else too, teppanyaki didn't used to be right here. The restaurant you entered here, but it stretched to the right. This on the left side used to be like a sweets, shakes, and that kind of stuff area. And since then, they took that out, which we were a little disappointed in because Lauren liked some macaroons that were right there as well. Then you have sales offices for all the art studios and everything else. Now, from the middle atrium to the main atrium, we're moving out. And then on the right, directly in front of that screen, is the atrium bar, because you got to have a bar in an atrium. It's just a rule, I guess. So that's the atrium bar. On the far side of it is the internet cafe. There's nothing more to it except for lounging areas, sitting areas. There is somewhere if you need to set up a computer, get a little bit of work done. But more importantly, if you had questions or anything along those lines, there's typically someone here during the day that can help you out with your phone or internet or anything else. Now, the main part, you just have a ton of chairs and then that huge screen. And then off to the right, you have a lot more seating areas. On that far side, that's actually the photography studio. So if you were to schedule something, that's probably where you're going to at least start and or go. On the far side over there, you can see a Starbucks. It is an official Starbucks. But this is where they do a lot of the activities, trivia, that kind of stuff, because you can kind of lounge. And then up above, you can see that's that horseshoe. That's part of the local. And so you can kind of see right into that. On the other side, you have the shore excursion desk. Next to that is guest services. And then on the far side, you have the cruise next desk. All of those things are going to be kind of necessary things. So all of those things are going to be like if you're trying to book a shore excursion, you just have a general question about anything, or you're trying to book your next cruise with a discount. So now we are moving a little bit more forward. Okay, now that we're all the way forward on deck 6, this is Q, the Texas Smokehouse. I'll be honest, we're from Texas. The barbecue is just okay. If you're really feeling the mood for it, it's probably good. Otherwise, it's just, again, kind of okay. The atmosphere is really cool. Let's see if I can get in here at all. So the atmosphere in here is pretty cool. They used to have a stage, which it doesn't look like they really have any more of. Oh, they do. So the atmosphere in here is really cool. They do have the stage. Now, when we were on board in 2018, they would actually have acts come in and play like country songs and that kind of stuff. We have not seen a single lick of that. So I think that's something that went away in dry dock, but they still do have the stage in case they need to use it for anything else. Okay, well, that is the Norwegian Bliss. Now, as far as from 2018 to now, would we cruise on again? Would we do a lot of that stuff again? And I would say yes. This has consistently been one of our favorite ships that we've sailed on, and we would absolutely do it again. Something about the layout and the size is just kind of a sweet spot. It's not as big as some of the Royal mega ships, but it's also not as small as some of the old ships from the early 2000s and the late 1990s. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed this walk around the Norwegian Bliss. If you're interested in learning more about my wife and I and our travels, we occasionally do videos more like this, which are tours or how to travel, that kind of stuff, versus the actual experiences of travel. You can also check out our website, millersinmotion.com, where you can learn all things about travel, us, as well as how to hack it a little bit and see if you can't earn some points with those credit cards to travel cheaper. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.